I feel like I'm giving major 90s mom vibes today. I've got the jean jacket and the tank top. Like I am from the 90s. I was born in the 90s. But I just feel like I look like one of those like moms in the 90s. I don't know. Anyway, that's totally besides the point. Hi, hello, I'm Shelby. Welcome back to A Little Literary Love. Glad you all are with me today because today's video is going to be my fall recommendations video. So, which is also why I'm in this different getup. Usually I wear like a bookish shirt of some kind, but I was like, I need to have like a fall ish outfit for this video today, and thus we got like the lipstick going on too, and I don't know, I was like, this looks fall, right, or is it just 90s? I don't know. I already started filming, so we're going with it. But yes, hi. So before we get into these recommendations, please make sure if you like my content that you are hitting that thumbs up button and also subscribing if you haven't already. I am posting videos every Thursday and Sunday, and I try to post shorts in between those, but it's a work in progress on that. But yes, today I'm going to be talking about a bunch of books. And these are all books. Of course, they're romance books because that's all I ever talk about on this channel. And these are books, romance books, that give me fall vibes. Either cozy fall vibes or more like spooky season fall vibes. Some of them are very sweet. Some of them are more like lean more towards the dark side. I don't know. When I'm in, like, when it comes to fall time, I either want to read something super cute and cozy, like, you know, the people are doing, like going to an apple orchard and like pumpkin carving, like something super cute like that, or I want like just dark and eerie, dark academia, gothic romances, monster romances. Just that's just usually the mood that I go in for fall. So I have a list of books here for you all. If you are also in the fall mood and you're looking for the perfect book to go along with that mood for yourself, hopefully you will find something in this list. Now, I've tried to make this list go from like the beginning books that I'll talk about are lean more towards the cozy side. And as we go through this list, they will progressively get more darker. And like the last books are much heavier on like the darker scale that I just arbitrarily made up in my head. So we're going to get right into it. First up, we have A Pack for Autumn by Amelia Emerson. This is part of a series that Amelia Emerson is doing with Ileana Lee, I think. There will be 4 books total in this series, each having to do with a different season. Currently, autumn and winter are the only 2 books that are out, but next year we will also get spring and summer seasons. So this one is a cozy small town Omegaverse story. Our female main character is an Omega, and she has just moved into this new small town. She has gotten a job as the lighthouse keeper. She wants to just kind of be alone and be by herself. She has a lot of things going on with her, namely grief. She's also dealing with depression. And you find out later on she also has a chronic illness that she's dealing with. So she just doesn't want to be social and be around people. But in this town, there's also our males of this story, our pack of alphas that have scented her and realized that they are her, that she is their scent match. They want to be a pack with her. So they are slowly kind of wearing down those walls that she has put up so that they can court her and hopefully form a pack. There's a cinnamon roll alpha in here that is super sweet. There's another alpha that is also going through some grief. So there's a little bit of hurt comfort in this story as well. Like I said, it takes place during autumn. There's like an autumn festival in the town. It's super cute, and I quite enjoyed it. Then we also have Howl by Meg Olivian, I think is how you say her last name, but this is another book that's part of a series. This is the only book that I've read from this series, but it's another one that's a cozy small town romance, but it's a paranormal small town. In this small town, there are humans and paranormal creatures, and they just kind of live amongst each other. So our two characters are best friends, but our female main character is human, and she has an altercation with an ex, whereas her best friend protects her. And so then now she's starting to see her best friend in a new light. Now, said best friend, he is keeping a secret from her. He has not told her that he is a werewolf, and he realizes that they are fated mates, but he doesn't want to ruin the friendship that they have. So it's them kind of navigating, oh, do we want more together than just this friendship? Because as she's starting to have these feelings for him, she doesn't want to then lose him as a friend. So it's, I feel like, a pretty classic story for a friends to lovers romance, but it's very cute. It's slow burn. I really enjoyed the town in this one. It definitely gives you almost like Halloween Town vibes to it with this town. It was super cute. Then we have Halfling by S.C. Wendell. This is the first book of the Monstrous World series. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. This one, our female main character is kidnapped and she is taken to an orc encampment. And our male main character, he is a half orc. So he finds her there and decides that he is going to help her escape the encampment. So he does, but then she has no way of knowing how to get back to her home. So they become kind of companions together as he is helping her navigate like the forest and everything to get her back to her family and where she lives. So they go on quite a journey. And of course, with them traveling together, they get to know one another and sparks fly between them. So we have that a little bit of like forced proximity scenario with them. This also has a little bit of the fated mate trope as well, but our male main character is such a cinnamon roll. He doesn't want to act on his feelings towards her because he doesn't want to make her feel unsafe, because he knows that he is different. He is, I mean, he's this big green guy, and she was taken and kidnapped into this orc encampment. And so, you know, he knows that she can be very scared of him. So he's very, very sweet and makes sure that very consenting between them as well. So there is also a little bit of a slow burn with this one, but then once they finally tell each other how they're feeling about one another, it is very, very high heat. So this is like a slow burn to high heat romance, and it was so good. Cannot wait to read more books from this series, but just the atmosphere of this book, the world, the fantasy world, it just, I feel like this is a perfect book to read in the fall time. Then we have Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert. Now this one is a novella, so if you're looking for something a little bit quicker to read, you're just wanting something really short, this is a great one to go to. And this one, I believe, takes place around Halloween as well. So our male main character, he is a werewolf, and he realizes that our female main character is his fated mate. And so he keeps visiting her family's, I think they own like a bakery or a coffee shop or something. So he keeps visiting so that he can be around her and hopefully not scare her off. However, she comes from a family of hunters. She has not been able to become a huntress because there was this prophecy that was told when she was born that if she were ever to become a huntress, her first kill would end up breaking her heart. So she is bound and determined to prove her family wrong, that she will be just fine being a huntress. So she decides to go on a date with our werewolf male main character in order to seduce him and get closer to him so she can kill him. So, I mean, it's a little bit about enemies to lovers, but this one was such a great story. It's a fantastic book to read during this time. Then we have The Marriage Hex by Sarah Blue. Now, the second book of this story actually comes out this coming week as I'm posting this video. So, and that one is The Fang Arrangement, which is a witch vampire romance. So I think that one would probably also be great for this. I just haven't read it yet because it hasn't come out. The Marriage Hex is a witch and werewolf werewolf shifter romance. And this features a friends to enemies to lovers scenario because our two characters, they start out as friends and they make a pact to each other when they're younger that if they are not married by, I think, 30, that they will end up marrying each other. But then they find out that he is a werewolf and she is part of this witch coven. And in this town, I think they're in New Orleans or pretty close to New Orleans, the witches and the werewolves do not get along whatsoever because so now they are mortal enemies. But now, lo and behold, both of these characters turn 30, and this pact that they made actually was binding. They somehow cast this spell that made it binding. So now they have to get married and they can't be away from each other for too long or like bad things happen. So they have to try to navigate what they're going to do about this because now they're mortal enemies. And it's fantastic story. Honestly, this is probably my favorite Sarah Blue book. It was just the storyline, the characters, the character development in this. It has great spice to it. And of course, I mean, it takes place around October, around Halloween. What more could you want? Now we're starting to get a little bit more into like the Gothic academia kind of atmospheric vibe books. So first off, we have the Thornchapel series by Sarah Simone. This one, first book is A Lesson in Thorns. This one is a like dark academia type romance. This one in our first book is about these group of friends. They have not seen, most of them have not seen each other in quite a while, and they are all getting back together to our female main character that we're getting the POV from in this first book. She is a librarian, and so she is called back to Thornchapel, which is this manor in England, to help catalog all of the books in the library at this house. And they are starting to remember what the fun that they had as children, but they're also uncovering a lot of secrets that are going on at this manor house. And now that they're adults, they also decide to engage in a lot of kinky fun times. So this is a ride. There's lots of stories about the Fae in this one and a lot of that old like English lore mythology. There's also a lot of the like the Mist of the Moor. It's just, it gives total fall vibes. This one is poly romance. Again, it's kinky. All of the characters in this, I believe, are bisexual as well. We end up having a MMF relationship and an FF relationship in here. There's a lot of stuff going on with this one, and this one definitely broke my heart. So but just be prepared if you decide to pick this one up. It's a very high steam, but it did break my heart. Then we have Fairy by Veronica Lancet. This one is just, it's a ride, and it's hard to categorize exactly what this book is. It is definitely a fantasy. It has fantastical elements to it. We start off with our female main character. She gets a letter that her biological father has passed away. Now, this is somebody that she did not even know that she existed because she grew up in like the foster care system. So she's told that her biological father has passed away and that she has inherited something in his will, but she has to go to his funeral and listen to the reading of the will. So she travels to Fairy and finds out that there is some wacky things going on in this town. There's lots of secrets happening, and she finds out that there's basically these two warring witch families that her coming back to this town, she is kind of caught in the middle of these two families. So she's trying to figure out what all is going on. Who should she trust? Who should she not trust? Then she's also having these very vivid dreams of basically herself, but back in like the 1700s, and how she fell in love with this man and just that kind of journey. And she's kind of falling in love with him in her dreams as well. There's a mysterious cat too. Like, it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on. But when I tell you that this is an epic love story, like, this is the very definition of an epic love story to me. It's just the layers of this story, the emotions that I had with this story, the mystery going on with like what the heck is actually going on in this book, and the plot. I love this. This is one of my favorite books of all time. Then we have Nocticadia by Carrie Lake. Of course, I could not make a fall reading guide, a fall recommendations list video without having Carrie Lake on here, because she is the queen of Gothic romances. This one is a standalone romance, and honestly, this is by so far my favorite Carrie Lake book. I do still have more that I'm wanting to read from her. But again, this is a standalone. Our female main character ends up going to this university because she is wanting to try to help investigate and find out about this illness, this virus that killed her mother. And at this university, there is a professor there known as Dr. Death that is also performing experiments and investigating this illness. So she wants to take his class and get closer to him so she can help him and they can kind of discover a cure together. There's also like somewhat paranormal stuff going on here. Lots of talk about like parasites. We have this age gap scenario since he is her professor. It's got those like good, like creepy vibes to it. It's just, it's so good. If you can't tell already, we're getting into more of like the darker books now. So next we have The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia. So this one is the first book of a series, and it has now just recently, within the past couple of weeks, it's been announced that this one has been picked up by a traditional publisher. So it's getting this brand new cover. And we will be getting 2 more books in this series. So this is marketed as a dark paranormal romance. I do not feel like this first book is a romance. It does not end on an HEA, but I could see where it could potentially turn into a romance with subsequent books. So just putting that out there, forewarning you if you want to dive into this one. This one is definitely very dark. Both of our characters are morally gray. This takes place in, I think it's in like the late 1800s in London. Our female main character, she is a poisoner. She deals with different like concoctions and she makes little like potions and things. And she ends up killing and poisoning men that have harmed women. So our male main character, they call him something different, but you find out he's basically like a vampire kind of creature. He discovers her and wants to kill her and eat her, but then he keeps watching her and watching what she does and realizing that she's killing all these people, and he just becomes so fascinated by her. When she discovers what he is and finds him and finds that he's, potentially wanting to kill her, she also wants to try to devise a plan to kill him back. So then she's kind of fascinated by him as well. And they strike up a deal where she gets to basically like ask him questions and experiment on him and try to figure out what he is. And it's very dark. It's very sexy as well. I also really recommend listening to this on audiobook. It has duet narration, but there's also these sound effects that the narrators make for this story that just added to the ambiance, like the creepy vibes of the story. So I fully recommend the audiobook. That's how I listen to it. or that's how I consumed this book. And it was good. I am definitely going to read book 2 when it comes out. Then we have The Hunting Vengeance Duet by Jess Weisskopf. So this one is quite dark. Honestly, it might be a little bit darker than the next books that I'm going to say too, but I don't know. It's here for now. But this one is a vampire romance. This is enemies to lovers. Our male main character is a vampire, and he is planning on seducing our female main character of the story because she is a descendant from a long line of hunters, and he thinks that she had something to do with his missing brother. So they get closer together. They realize that they have this really big attraction to one another. So it's very high steam story. Definitely a toxic relationship, especially as we get into book 2. Book 2, I feel like, is much darker than book 1, but a lot of things end up getting revealed. The book 2 especially heavily focuses and deals with depression, suicide, and suicide ideations in this one. So if those are things that are triggering for you, I would definitely skip these stories. But if you're okay, you can handle that. Those, I feel like those are very important topics to talk about. And like I said, it's all within this paranormal, bloody, because it's vampires, and very sexy story, the toxic relationship, but we do get some good character development in this. I don't know. I love Jess Weisskopf's stories. I think she's a genius writer. I think this one is fantastic and very underrated. Then we have both Phantasma and Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. These are just great paranormal books. So Phantasma focuses on our female main character. She ends up entering into Phantasma, which is this big mansion that pops up all across the world. And you can enter into a tournament in Phantasma. So she ends up doing this because she believes her sister has entered into this tournament. So she is trying to find her sister. But once you go in, you're locked in. You can't get out. And you have all of these different trials where you could die from them, but only one person wins at the end, and you get to ask a wish, whatever wish that you want. I completely adored this story because, again, if I'm reading like spooky season vibes, I don't know. There's just something about a haunted mansion that I love. So there's ghosts, there's hauntings in this one, but in between the different trials that she has to do, she ends up befriending a phantom or specter person that is helping her through the different trials. It's fantastic. And then the second book is about her sister, who ends up getting entrapped in basically another game where she's trapped inside a house. But this time, I think they're in like England or Paris, and she's trapped inside this mansion with this family whom every year they've made a deal with this other like devil kind of person, and every year they have to play this game where they basically have to kill one another until there's only one winner left. But then they all like come back alive, so like they're not permanently dead, but you can imagine how like scarring that is on you as a family, that you're constantly having to kill your siblings. But that one was also fantastic. I blew through those books. Those books actually helped get me out of a reading slump because I could not put these down. I love them. I cannot wait for more books of the series. I'm hoping there's going to be more. And then the last books that I have to recommend is the Souls trilogy by Harley LaRue. Her Soul Stake is the first one. This one is another one that focuses around a small town, but it's a much darker vibes of this small town. You realize that this small town is basically a cult, and they are sacrificing these girls to this demon in order to gain powers, like magical powers. So our female main character of this first story is one of the women that they have decided to sacrifice. And our male main character of the story is a demon that is tasked with finding her and bringing her to the leader of this like cult of the small town, so that they can sacrifice her to this like larger demon. But the real main character of the story, he decides that he is much more fascinated by our female main character and doesn't necessarily want to bring her back to have her sacrificed. This one or the Hunting Vengeance Duet might tie for the darkest books that I have on this list. This one is definitely the spiciest. Like, I was not expecting some of the things that Harley LaRue put in this book as far as the spice goes. So, but it's very good. And each subsequent book focuses around the same timeline, but it's just from different characters' POVs. All female, like demon type ones. Although one of them is a witch and a demon, but they're all fantastic and great books to read during this time of year. So that is going to be it for my recommendations video list of fall or romances to read in fall time. So if you have any other suggestions of books that you think would be perfect to read this time of year, make sure you leave a comment so that we all can partake in more books to add to our TBRs. And that is going to be it for this one. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.